everyone, welcome to Vlogmas Day 5. Now this one is going to be a little bit different. It will still have like a vlog aspect towards the end of this video, but I thought that I would just sit down and speak you through my 24 favourite books of 2024. Now last year I found it really hard to pick 23, and next year we're going to have to pick 25. So the more the years go up, the harder this is going to get, because it was hard to pick 24. I've read, at this very moment as I'm filming this, 101 books. I'm on my 102nd book, and I had to pick 24 of those. However, I'm really fussy with my 5-star reads, so like not every single book is going to be a 5-star. I think I went from July until November with no 5 stars. So like actually picking 24 that I liked was really hard as well, even though you'd think it'd be easy, I don't know. But I have 24 books literally splayed out in front of me right now, and I'm just going to speak you through them. They are somewhat in order. They're not like in an exact order, because literally it can change by the day, but I'm just going to speak you through them, and we're just going to have a little chit chat about my favourite books of the year. I think the top 10 are probably in order, and the top 5 are like my all-time picks, like all-time faves, but like no particular order as of when, like as of now. I don't know. I'm gonna see. I have written it down on my phone, so I'm gonna just go through the list. Okay, so the first one, I don't actually have the physical copy with me. It's actually in my car and I can't be bothered to go and get it. But it's my reread of An Inspector Calls. Now, if you're not sure, in the last month or so, I've completed work experience in a school, because that's where I want to like progress my career and stuff like that. Of course, they were doing An Inspector Calls as GCSE, which is what I did as my GCSEs, and I loved it. I really did love it, and I really did love it when I did it in GCSE English, and I was like desperate to reread it anyway. But what a perfect chance. So we read it as a class, I read it privately, I did it fully annotated, like annotated my copy, and I really liked it. So that was a 5-star. Like I feel like it always will be. It reminded me of my GCSEs, but also just in general, I just love it so much. The first physical one I've got is Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. This is the first, I was going to say and only book that I read by this author, but that's now a lie. I recently read Hannah Bonham Young's novella. It's like a Christmassy sapphic romance, and it was really cool. But this is my first one by this author, and I really like the writing style, like so much. I was instantly like enamored into this book. I instantly fell so much in love with it, and I think I've literally binged it within a couple of days. I really like this one. It was, I think, a 4.75, so like very close to being a 5-star. I have The 7-Year Slip. I read this one in around May time, and I felt like it was the perfect time to read this book, because it was just getting into that like summery months. Not that it's like an overly summer book, but it's just like a happy sort of feel-good kind of book, if you know what I mean. There's definitely some like sad topics in it, but I don't know, I just really like the time that I read this book, not only in my life but in like the actual seasons as well. And I feel like it's a good time to read this book, because I feel like it does span over like the summery kind of months. It's not necessarily festive, it's not necessarily autumn, but I can understand if you did want to read this in like autumn as well, because it is very cozy. I don't know, I just really like when I read this. So now I'm going to talk about 2 books. I wasn't going to do these together, but I might as well just do them together. I have Behind the Net and The Fake Out. These were 2 of my all-time favourite books. I read these in May as well. The only reason I read Behind the Net was so I could read The Fake Out, because Ellen picked it for our like bestie picks my reads video. But I'm so glad that I read this one first, because not only did it set this one up so well, I also just absolutely loved it, and I feel like this was my favourite out of the 2. This is Ellen's like all-time favourite book ever, and I preferred this one, so like we literally go hand in hand and it's perfect. But I loved Behind the Net so much. This was an instant 5-star. I literally read it in like 2 sit-ins. This was a 4.75, so I liked it like a little bit less, but still very much enjoyed it. This is another one that I actually can't find the physical copy of, but I know that I own because I literally read it. But that is The Suitcase Kid by Jacqueline Wilson. Now this is probably like a weird choice, but I was obsessed with that book as a kid, and it literally found my love for Sylvanian families like in that book. I already loved them, but when I read that book I was like, oh my god, I love Sylvanian families, and like that's why it always has a special place in my heart, because I felt like I really related to the main character. I have parents that aren't together, so the main character sort of travels back and forth from her mums and dads. She has a lot, unfortunately, worse of a situation than I did. Like mine was a very positive experience, I will say, but just seeing that from a kid's point of view, being a kid reading it, I just loved it. I don't know, I felt like I related a little bit to the character. Not obviously, like as I said, total relations there, but there was definitely some little things in that story that I was like, I love this and I relate to this. We then have Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This is another one that I absolutely fell in love with from the first page. I read Part of Your World back in August last year, and then read Yours Truly. It was my first ever book of 2024, and we will get onto that a bit later on, but this was just so good as well. I felt like it was a great wrap up to what we've already read, and I know a lot of people have read this one first and then gone back and I personally am so glad that I read it in order, like a timeline order. They are interconnected standalones, like you don't need to read the other two to read this book, but I felt like I got the best outcome of that experience. So if you're waiting to read this book and you haven't read the first two, please do, like, please take this from me, an Abby Jimenez like stan. Please read the other two before you read this. As I said, you don't have to, but it's just that kind of experience that it ignites it and it heightens the experience that you're going to have, because you see the characters cross over, it's all set within the same world, and it's just great. This is our next one, the Bromance Book Club. Now, I was actually surprised when I wrote this down on my list, because it's not necessarily one of them books that I was like 100% overly obsessed with. Like, it wasn't a 5-star. I think it was barely a 4-star, but I read it all in one sitting and I really enjoyed every single second of it. Like, it was just really fun. It was a light-hearted read with those like sprinkling of hard topics in there, and it's basically about a group of guys that want to get in touch with their relationships and stuff like that. So they start reading a romance book to then ignite that passion again in their relationships and like get to what's the word? Get inspiration from the romance books, basically. And I just thought it was just so cleverly written and so well done. Like, it's just classic blokes just like running around trying to impress women, basically, but not in like a way that you would think. It's quite wholesome, actually, like a wholesome sort of look into it. But I definitely recommend this. As I said, it wasn't a 5-star, but it was still really good. Another one that I don't have the physical copy for, I didn't prepare well for this video, but that is Hello Stranger by Catherine Center. I really enjoyed that book. I read it again in a couple of sittings. Didn't really have too much of an expectation going into it. I had read one other Catherine Center book before, which is The Bodyguard, which we'll get onto in a minute. But I didn't really know where I stand with her, because obviously I only read one book by her. So I was like, is this going to be a new author that I love? Or was she just like a one-hit wonder for me or something like that? And I really enjoyed it. Again, it wasn't like a 5-star, like ultimate 5-star, but it is definitely one that I thought about since reading it. But obviously that leads me on to The Bodyguard, which was the first book that I read by Catherine Center. I read this one on holiday, and again, I think I read it in like 2 sittings. It was literally so, I don't even know the word to describe it, but so enamoring. Like, I just wanted to know what happened next the entire time. And with contemporary romance, I don't really find that often anymore, even though I love a good classic romance book. I love all your cringy tropes, your rom-com vibes, or just anything like that in general. I do feel like because I consume so much of it, it is very samey. It's very the same, and that's understandable. But this one, it was that little bit different. I feel like the sprinkling of like magic that she just puts in it, not actual magic, but I don't know, I just really like Catherine Center's writing, and I want to collect all of her books and read all of her books, because I've still got quite a few that I haven't read yet, which will be so fun. We then have Night Shift by Annie Crown. Now this one, I really saw me and Riley in the main characters of this. Obviously because he's a basketball player, I'm a book girly, that was like the first thing. But even in just like a little bit of their dynamic and like their banter and things like that, I just think that I enjoyed this one so much because I saw myself in the characters. It is obviously a very Wattpaddy book. It's not the best writing in the world. It's not like, you know, anything crazy, but it was just really good and I related to it, and I really enjoyed every second of reading it. We then have The Friend Zone, which I read in my most recent 24-hour readathon. I cried, I laughed. Abby Jimenez just does it to me. This is separate to the book that I've already spoken about. This is not in the same world, but I did start a new world with this book. I just love all of her books so much. Like, she is, honestly, she's become one of my favourite authors this year, 100,000,000%. This one had me crying, as I said, it had me laughing, it had me giggling, it had me shocked. There was just so many things in this, such a short book as well. And it had all of those emotions out of me. I was so invested, and I think even if I didn't read it in a 24-hour readathon, I would have literally like read it in 1 or 2 sittings anyway. It was that good. Now we have Daisy Hates The Great Undoing. I actually forget how much I enjoyed this book until I actually think about the time that I read when I was reading it. Like, the actual reactions that I had out of it, the fact that I couldn't put it down. I was reading it, I did read it on Kindle, but I was reading it in bed with my Kindle, and I don't think I stopped for so long, literally just binging like most of this book in one go. It is the shortest one, I think, of the Magnolia Park series, but where the last one sort of like leaves off, you're instantly wanting to get back into this one. And as you guys know, or may know by now, the Magnolia Park series is like my all-time favourite series ever. I need to do a full reread. I'm so invested, and the fact that I read it this year is beyond me. Like, it doesn't even feel like this year that I read this. Like, it's crazy. We then have Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is a series, I'm going to be honest, that I was absolutely terrified to get into. I wasn't sure where I was going to love this or whether I was going to hate this, because I have heard mixed reviews. This is some of my best friends' favourite books in the entire world. Like, a couple of my friends are ride or die for these books. And I was really unsure. I was like, because I love Magnolia Parks and I love like trauma, messy, like weird kind of books that normally people wouldn't enjoy the themes of. I knew that I would like it, but I was like, I want to be obsessed, and I feel like I put it on a little bit of a pedestal. I put pressure on it. I was like, I need to love this series and I need to love this book, and luckily I did. I have only read Ricochet since, so I do definitely want to delve back into this series very, very soon. But yeah, I'm obsessed with this. Addicted, if you will, and I'm excited to carry on the series. We then have Swift and Saddled. I started the Rebel Blue Ranch series earlier on this year with Done and Dusted. I've spoken about it a little bit in Vlogmas so far because I actually finished Lost and Lassoed like Vlogmas day 1 or 2, whenever it was. I really, really enjoyed this book, but as I've said in Vlogmas so far, I won't dwell too much on this book because I've already spoken about it, but I love this one. It is my absolute favourite. I read this one in a readathon as well, and I feel like with readathons, you can either love or hate books. If I read this without a readathon, would I have still binged it in one sitting? Would I have still liked it as much? It literally is make or break. There's definitely books that I've read in readathons that I've been like, if I didn't have to force myself to finish this, I would have enjoyed it more. But this one, I enjoyed nonetheless, and I was so happy. Same with The Friend Zone as well. So I absolutely love this. I feel like they are the perfect length, and I say this every single time. I would have happily read a longer book of these two characters. Ada and Wes have become like two of my favourite characters. I love them so much, and this whole world that they're in is just great, and I would have read a longer book by them. However, I feel like it's the perfect length to keep the reader invested and keep you sort of wanting to know what's happening next, knowing that it's going to wrap up soon because it's short book. Like, I don't know, that is what I really enjoyed about this. I feel like it's just, they're all so great. We have The Right Move by Liz Tomford. This is the second book in the Windy City series. I did like the first one, Mile High. I did like it, but it wasn't my favourite. I rated it a 4.5 star, and I think upon reflection, like a year nearly later, I think I would rate it down to a 4. Because like, it was good, and I did enjoy like every second of reading it. I binged a lot of it in one go. When I compare it to other books that I've read, I definitely would lower that. However, this one I will put on a bit of a pedestal. I don't know if it's because it's basketball or just anything else like in this book, but something in this book, I think it had some kind of like crack in it or something, because I was so invested into this book. This was another one of Bestie Ellen's picks for me, and I feel like every single book that she picks me has some kind of 5-star written in there, like somewhere. I feel like I just need her to pick my books for 2025. Ellen, if you're watching this, I need your advice because I'm in a bit of a slump. And then we have The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. If you're in a slump, as I just said, you would absolutely eat this up. Not only this one, but the whole entire series as well. You need it in your life. They are so quick, so easy. It's about a young group of FBI trainee kind of people who all have a natural ability to do something, and they come together and help solve cold cases at first, and then it progresses. So amazing. I wish I could read this book for the first time again. I read it in like 2 sittings, I think it was, or maybe even 1. Very, very start of January. I think it was my second or third book of the year, and I loved it. It was a 5-star. Alright, I'm just filming.
Oh, sorry.
That's alright. Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm just going to wrap this video up. I've got a couple more books to speak about, intro my next reading vlog, and then I'll be done.
Yeah, no worries.
Cool. Alright then.
Love you.
Love you. See you in a bit. Where were we? Now, we have this beauty of a book, which is Magnolia Parks Into the Dark, which is the final, at the moment, installment of the Magnolia Park series. This was a 5-star, I'm going to tell you that now. It didn't take the route that I initially thought it was going to take until I read The Long Way Home, which we will get onto in a minute. So reading this book, it was full of pain, it was full of grief, but also full of happiness and full of joy, and like almost thank God things are happening. I don't know, it's really hard to explain if you haven't finished the rest of the series, but this book just has a little special place in my heart. I love it so much. Also a 5-star. We then have Love and Other Words. This was a 5-star as well. I read this one again for my like subscribers pick. I feel like when other people pick, they just make great choices, and this is definitely one of them. This was a 5-star, absolutely loved it. I love the childhood friends to lovers kind of vibe with a sprinkle of grief, a sprinkle of trauma. Like, this is just me in a book, and I absolutely loved it. Now, I think these books that I'm going to show you now are ultimately my top books of the year, of all time. So I am going to start off with Keeping 13. Now, you're probably thinking, Ella, didn't you DNF that book? Yes, I did DNF it. It was in my reading books I DNF video. But as I said in that video, it wasn't because I DNF'd it because I didn't enjoy it. It was just very, very long and I wasn't in the mood for it at that very moment. However, when reading it, I was absolutely obsessed with it. And then when I did binge like the last, like, I don't know, majority of it, it was a great fun time. So I just bear that in mind when I speak about these books. But of course, I mean the Boys of Tommen series. I'm holding up the first 3 because these are the only 3 that I've read at this very moment. These are the ones that I've thoroughly enjoyed over the last few months. Binding 13 I read at the end of January last year. Keeping 13 I think I finished in like September time, whenever that video went out when I DNF'd it and picked it back up. And Saving 6 I read in November, and I have been in a reading slump ever since finishing this book because no book will ever be as good as these books in my opinion. Obviously Magnolia Parks, but I finished that series. So I think, and I will be honest, my favourite series of all time is Magnolia Parks. I'm loving the Boys of Tommen series and they are literally neck and neck at the moment to be considered my favourite series of all time. And it's actually a bit worrying, but I feel like, is it because Magnolia Parks is like out of sight, out of mind? Because I haven't really thought about it since like May, because no books have come out since that I've read the last one? And is it because I'm currently in this series? I don't know, but I have absolutely loved every single second of reading these books and I'm so excited to read the next books in the series. I'm refraining. All I want to do right now is literally here is pick up Redeeming 6. It's all I want to do. However, I'm refraining it because I want to read it on Christmas Day, which you're probably thinking, probably not the best book to read on Christmas Day because it's a little bit like traumatic, a little bit not the best vibes to read with your family on Christmas, but I just need something that I love. And I feel like, imagine just sitting around my nan's, everyone's had their Christmas dinner, the vibe is just relaxed, chilled, and I'm just reading one of my favourite series ever. I can't wait. I'm so excited. So I'm saving this one. If I start it now, I'm going to finish it by Christmas. So it's not happening yet, but that is the plan. But I could go on about these books for days, and I feel like if this is your sign, if you haven't read this yet, take them. Well, not mine, but take them. Please read them, because I feel like everyone goes, they're so long. They are, but you'll get it once you open that first page. You will get it, and you will be instantly sucked in and instantly invested. Now this one, as I mentioned before, we have yours truly. This was probably, I'm just going to say, one of my favourite books of the year because I don't actually know like the full ranking. I have my all-time favourite book of the year. This was my first book of 2024. It was the first book that I picked up and it was instantly a 5-star. I read this one in a matter of like hours, I think. I like cracked the spine open. I've got some annotations in there as well. Like, I absolutely love this book. And when I spoke about Just for the Summer, as I said, I wouldn't have had as good of an experience of this if I didn't read Part of Your World first. So definitely do if you're planning on reading these books. But I don't know what about this book I loved so much. I feel like it was like that workplace environment, the fact that they were sending like letters to each other. There was something involved that was a little bit sad. Like, I don't know, I just really, really liked this book. And again, it's like one of them books that's the perfect length. It's not too lengthy, it's not too long, but it's also enough in there. You get all the detail, you get all of the relationship and everything, and it's just so, so good, and I would highly recommend this book. Now the first place award goes to my all-time favourite book of 2024, and the fact that I even read it in 2024 is absolutely insane because it literally feels like I read it a year ago. Magnolia Parks The Long Way Home. I would sell my soul for this book. This book is insane. I went through a long time of toying whether the first Magnolia Parks or this one was my favourite book, and I think I'm going to have to put this one on a pedestal and say that it was. In this scenario, for my favourite books of 2024, this one will have to win because I read the first one in 2023. So either way, this one is our clear winner for today. But in general, my favourite book of all time, is it this one or the first one? I think I am going to have to put the medal on this one. 100,000,000%. It was so good all the way through. The ending literally took me by surprise. It had me laughing, it had me crying. The fact that it's just like pure gossip, pure vibes just around London, but also with so much depth and trauma and so much emotion in it as well, is the reason why this is my favourite book. And I could talk about it all day. I'm not going to do that for your own sake. But oh my goodness, this book is amazing. And I cannot stress enough to read this series. A lot of people think that it's just kind of like some gossip girly kind of rubbish, messy vibe, which it is. But there's so much more to it than that. And I feel like everyone can enjoy this. It's not everyone's cup of tea. I'm going to be honest. It's not everyone's taste. But at least give it a go. Not this one, but the first one, and then progress through. But yeah, it's so good. So those are some of my favourite books of 2024, which is insane to say that we are here already. I think I am going to vlog a little bit maybe for the rest of the day. Not 100% sure what I'm going to do. I'm literally just going to head to Riley's, I think, and we're just going to have like a slow evening, just chill, watch some Vlogmas, catch up. I've got to edit the video and stuff like that. But yeah, that's it really. So at Riley's now, I've literally just sat and edited everything you literally would have just seen. I've sat and edited it all up until this point now, which is great. And we have just ordered dinner as well. We've got one of my faves. I get my hot wings tonight. If you don't know, Morley's hot wings are like my favourite food ever. And Riley was like, do you just want to get a takeaway? Because we've got like no food in the house. And I was like, yeah, go on then, we'll do it. But I don't really have too much planned for the rest of the evening. I think I'm just gonna try and find a book to read. As I said, I'm still in like the biggest, fattest reading slump ever since reading Saving Six. So I'm just gonna try and power through and just start something, and we will just see what happens later on. But yeah, I think we're just gonna eat some dinner, maybe watch a Christmas film or watch something, read something, and just vibe, just chill. And that's just what's going on. But yeah, not really much of an update, but I thought I'd update you anyway. Did a little bit of skincare, and by skincare I mean popped every single spot on my face. But I don't know if I'm using these eye patches right. They're literally just like the Slow Sunday aloe gel eye masks, but they just keep slipping down my face. Like look, one little touch and they just keep slipping and slipping, and I don't know, I need to just maybe just lay there and just chill. I wish I was reading a book. That's what I need to be doing. But as I said in both yesterday and today's vlog actually, I have been in a reading slump for about a month. And it's not looking good, it's not. I have my Kindle here with me. I actually put a new case on it today. I think I'm gonna switch between the like clear case with the stickers and this case, because just for convenience purposes. So I did leave all my stickers on the back. But this is the little case. It is literally the cutest thing ever. Like, I love it. Should these be stinging my eyes? Look, they've literally slipped down again. I literally don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing with it. What is the point? And you can tell where I've just like went ham on my forehead. This lighting is actually disgusting as well, by the way. But we do, that's better. Is it? What do I look like? We do actually have Santa coming down the road tonight in his sleigh for charity, which is really, really nice. It happens every single year, like around our area. And that'll be really, really nice. And I don't know what time he's coming, because it said between a certain time window, and our road is like the last road that it happens. So I don't actually know what's going on with that, but yeah. Oh, my ponytail is way too tight. But I think what I'm going to try and do is just pick a book to read, try my damn hardest to choose, and then see what happens. Oh, bloody eye patches.
Have you seen my face?
Yeah, majorly. Got my towel. Laura Smith. She cooks and makes in the kitchen. She goes.
No.
She doesn't move her head. That's what I feel like.
Hello?
Oh, isn't that lovely? So guys, I haven't really added too much into this vlog so far because it was literally meant to just be a sit down style, like 24 books of 2024, like my favourite books. But we're going on a spontaneous walk at like 10 o'clock at night with the dog. This wasn't planned, but I was just, you know when you're sat around all day and I was like, I need to move. So I said to Riley, should we just go on a walk as a joke? Purely a joke, because I knew that it was never going to happen. And Riley was like, come on then. So we're going for a walk. Seeing everyone's Christmas lights is so nice. I love it. I love it. Oh, don't leave me behind. Hugo! Hello! Hello! He's like, why am I out this late? I got the dog. I got the dog. Oh, there's nice Christmas lights down here. There's nice, oh, Christmas lights down here. Come on. Good boy. Hugo just decided to poo on the bloody path. Hugo! Of all places. Come on, boy. Pick your dog poo up, guys. Oh, we didn't notice. We've literally just walked past Riley's nan and granddad's house and we thought the dog was going to notice. And he just walked straight past and he started to get excited. And then he just walked past and I was like, oh. But they literally came round earlier, so it's not like he hasn't smelt them. And we're back. That was nice. When I sit in one place too long, I don't like it. I like to just actually get out of the house a little bit. We were rotting on that sofa for way too long and it just feels like the day just like gone so slow. Oh. I can't really talk that loud because it is currently 1:13 in the morning. So this is actually not the day, like this is the day after technically that I started this video, so apologies for that. However, I just wanted to give like a little bit of a reading update because I've literally done like multiple videos where I do things to recommend to you guys to get out of reading slumps and stuff, and I just need to take my own advice. So I've done that and I'm rereading one of my all-time favourite books, which is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I literally started it like an hour ago, I want to say, and I've already just hit the 100 page mark, so I'm 27% of the way through. And if you're wondering why I'm up at like 1:15 in the morning, it's because Riley's actually watching a basketball game, and obviously a lot of the NBA games, because it's in America, are very early hours in the morning for us because we're 5 hours ahead. But I just wanted to give you an update that I'm reading Evelyn Hugo. I've been meaning to do a reread of this book for the longest time, like literally for ages. I read it, as I said, 2 years ago, nearly 3 years ago, which is absolutely insane. And I've been meaning to read it for a very, very long time. Like, again, I did want to do like a fully annotated reread, but I loved this book literally so much. Oh my god, guys, I have to finish this clip on my iPad because I don't have my phone on me. And my camera's just died on me. The battery's literally flashing and it literally died. So I'm filming on my iPad, which I've never done before, so I do apologise. But anyway, I love The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. It is literally one of my all-time favourite books ever. It was a 6-star read 2 years ago, and I'm very, very excited to get back into it again. I haven't sat and read 100 pages without a break in about a month, and that was when I read 400 pages in one go of Saving Six. I haven't binged a book in ages. I've been like listening to audiobooks, starting books, not finishing them. I did obviously read Lost and Lassoed, like that was good, but I didn't really binge it. I think I read like 80 pages of it in one go, and that was like the biggest stint that I've done. So I've officially read over my like amount, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I'm going to be quiet because it's literally, as I said, 1 o'clock in the morning and everyone else is asleep. But I think I'm not going to end this vlog here just yet because I don't know what else I've got to film for the rest of the day, but obviously I'm just going to be reading and watching basketball, so I don't know how much I'm going to film. Anyway, I love you lots. Hey guys, it is very, very late, but I have managed to read a ton. A lot of this book today. I am on chapter 47, which is 70% of the way through, which is just insane. I'm not 100% sure if my reading slump is over, because this is a reread, so like obviously I'm gonna really enjoy it, but I don't actually know. Hopefully things are looking up, because I have binged a load of this today. But I thought I'd just end the vlog here because it's currently, as I said, way too late and I should have been in bed hours ago, and I've broken out. Look at me. It's not looking good. How many times have I said that so far in this vlog? It's not looking good. But I will hopefully see you in tomorrow's Vlogmas. How do I end a vlog? What do I normally say? Peace out. Love ya. Subscribe and all that jazz.